who's been in the Contenders scene for a while now. Wasn't even in pre-Contenders, pre-Overwatch League scene, but
along with what we would both probably consider to be the biggest X factor on the team in Amadian. Not that to say that the rest of the team hasn't been good as well mechanically, but Amadian probably the most standout at times.
Looks like when Tea Party going to be rolling out here, both squads with the triple DPS. As Frill, he finds that early pick on the bluff.
Second wins decisive with the Pharah Widow. Of course, this has been all the rage in Overwatch League recently. Not so much anymore. Into the next stage as 222 is upon us. But again, this is the end of the era. The last time we'll be seeing these 3 DPS comps.
Frill going to find another pick there onto Amadian now. Second win with the pressure onto the point. That's Frill. He's trying to contest, but he's going to get caught by the Hammond. Picked up by Freedom. And Tea Party, they're still in this fight. Remember, with triple DPS, despite the point flip, you can get back very quickly.
Yeah, Frill got a little bit crazy there. That was way too deep for Widow. Kaden, though, still in the air. Hopping back over. Pharah v Pharah here. Between Tea Party and second win. Kaden takes rocket over the top and down he goes. Pharah finish off the rest of it, but the resurrection is there. Gotta finish your play. Can't let the Mercy res. Located immediately. Taking a rocket to the dome. Heading back over, and Pharah just chases him down again. Not gonna be rezzed up this time.
Pharah's presence on the Pharah cannot be overestimated right now, but Frill, he's on the point. They're on the point this entire time. Second win. They're still holding on to this point CP. They're getting the picks they need. And even though the Pharah duel is going very favorably, the ground duel is not. Tea Party are just not winning this duel on the ground at all. Frill, Izar, Shredlock is getting so much value.
Why is my stand-in tank player from last season doing so much on hit scan DPS? It defies the mind.
He is, Frill is definitely a player that's been a little bit flexible at times in his career in Contenders, and has been very good on all of them, honestly.
Well, that's decisive. EMP setting up for Tea Party, and yet they lose 2 immediately after. They run into the mines on the other side of the second win. Well, they lose Kaden, but they still might hold. Izar now, it's his turn to step up to the plate.
Izar and Kaden are just finding Izar and Shredlock, I should say, are finding so much value. It was a good counter EMP from Izar to lock them into the mines of Shredlock. And second win still hold on to this point CP. The flip has not happened at any point for Tea Party. It doesn't really matter that Pharah is winning these Pharah duels because they're not winning on the ground. They're not taking the presence.
Pharah might be doing well in the air, but the ground dominated between Frill and Shredlock. A little bit of Izar on top. 90% to second win in Tea Party. Now they need to put people on point one way or another. The final fight might be upon us.
Tea Party going to be coming back in for one last fight. Pharah is going to find Kaden here again. Real touchy, looking for the contest. Does not find anyone with that pulse bomb. And Tea Party, they've made it to the point. And with Shredlock going down, I think they finally have the presence they need.
Well, Frill has something to say about that. Moving over. But this is going to be difficult for a Tracer to bring back. Tea Party. They get the flip, but they have a long way to go to get back into this.
They're going to have to be very, very good with their ult economy here in this situation as well, because look at second win. They're coming up on 5 ults very soon. The EMP barrage is going to be possible. And for them, they cannot lose anyone. It has to be a perfect defense here around from Tea Party, so a lot of this is going to be based off this EMP.
Early EMP used, hits 3 Amadian, immediately down and Kaden there in the fall through. Ignores his counterpart for the early, then turns, kills Far. The rest of the second win just moving in on the ground. And that's going to be enough. The EMP from Izar, the dagger to the heart of Tea Party. Round 1. Should be second wins. Tea Party going in for a little bit of delay, but they don't even get back over to the point.
Dominant from second win throughout a lot of that. And it looked great for Far. Far, he was having a very, very good presence in the air. As we are going to have a disconnect go on. It's Amadian. Looks like the DC.
It seemed, did Amadian say pause, need to reconnect there? I didn't have a chance to read it.
I didn't get a chance to read game chat, so I don't know.
I feel like that's what I read there. Maybe I'm either the best speed reader, I'm literally just making stuff up because I saw Amadian's name there one way or another. Technically, you can find out by going to the VOD right now. We don't
really, well, yeah, we can't really see it ourselves right now. But it is Amadian that's for the DC there. It is going to be the first round going the way of second wind. And Tea Party, they just could not find the ground. They couldn't find the presence. And for triple DPS, what's so important is it's one thing if you look really flashy, winning Pharah duels all the time, that's great. But if the rest of your team is dying on the ground, and if you're not capping the point, which is obviously the objective and how you're going to win the round, then it doesn't really matter how great, how cool, how many air shots you're hitting.
Also, when you're running things like triple DPS, the reality is that you as one part can be neutralizing another part, but still be losing team fights. It's not quite the same dynamic as you had in 3-3 setups where losing one person usually meant you immediately lost the fight. DPS versus DPS, it's more variable, which is how Overwatch generally was prior to the tank-heavy comps being a thing, where we used to live in a world where early pickoff didn't necessarily mean that you always won the fight. And we saw a lot of that there where Far, credit where credit is due, Far was able to take down Kaden first many a time. Doesn't quite matter when Frill is able to do the same to the ground and then some.
So I was just waiting for Amadi to get back into the lobby to reconnect, maybe some sort of PC issue there. Who knows, really? What does it matter because he has to get back in? And Tea Party, they're going to have to adjust, especially in the triple DPS mirror matchup there, where they definitely have the mechanical skill, but it was very clear that second win, their engages were a lot stronger. They were getting a lot more value from their ults in general. It was clearly just having a lot of veteran presence, which they do. They have a lot of veteran presence on second win comparatively to Tea Party in terms of the Contenders level.
Also, I do think that Tea Party has good mechanical skill on their team. However, in that last fight, what we just saw, especially in the battle of triple DPS versus triple DPS, I do think they got mechanically outplayed. Frill was dominant, particularly on Widow, but also over to Tracer. You cannot have a hit scan DPS essentially pop off on you to the degree that Frill was doing and reasonably expect to win the match. So, to a degree, Amadi and Freedom need to have a better game against this.
So that is first round for second win. We're going to be into our second round now. Tea Party looking like they're probably going to roll on the triple DPS again. Second win, probably going to do much of the same because they're saying, why fix what is not broken? Why make any changes here? We looked very good first round, so let's do it again.
Frill going to be opening up in the Widow once more, and I think that's a decent opening, particularly on the stage in Nepal where you can expect to far on the other side. You have reasonable sight lines to that as well. We'll see if Frill is able to find Far on the other side, where Far already opening with a bit of rocket spam. Grapple shot, up and over, looking for the opportunity. Doesn't quite see it here just yet.
Frill going to be taking this Far rotation over here near the statue side, near the elephant side. The point hasn't been unlocked just yet, but Frill finding Freedom there after the translocate.
You can't find the Far, but you get the Sombra. Pretty reasonable opening. Hammond punched on the other side, just hacked and dispatched. And now, two-man advantage, make it 4. And second win again. Just winning on a raw mechanical level.
Yeah, right now, that's a completely ult-neutral fight. Tea Party just getting picked early. There's not much else to say. Second win protecting Frill and finding those frags when Tea Party looked to collapse.
We're going to see a swap here. Amadian off to the Tracer. Frill still hunting Far on the other side, and things are pretty difficult for Far right now, and I think Far realizes it, and that's why we see the swap over the Widow.
So now we are going to have that Widow duel potential for Frill. Far and Frill are going to be dueling there a bit. No Far in the field. That's Frill. He finds Amadi, but Far going to get the counter pick.
I just realized Widow can say that word, and I'm not even sure we care.
Which Widow?
The word that we just saw, but don't worry about it. Far on the other side, Kaden able to take down Ace of Spades. Kaden just rallying over the top, taking down 2. And this makes the fight easy for second win. Tea Party unable to get anything going versus Far pressure.
So far, Tea Party, despite Far coming back, and he's been a consistent bright spot for Tea Party in the triple DPS, but the thing is that the rest of his squad just has not been finding the value. Far going to go back to Pharah. Going to go back to Pharah now. Frill has made the swap off of Widow, so a little bit more free, a little bit more space available for him. It is a pure mirror matchup. That's Tea Party. They really need to find some picks. They really need to get an opening.
Well, his Spades gets the Ana early on, so they do have an opening. EMP out from Izar, hits 2. But enough for Freedom. They hit the dirt, and that means there's no EMP for Tea Party. Kaden with plenty of room to work with. Frill under pressure, able to get the rewind. Far v Far, Kaden chasing after Far. And this is where things get a little bit messy. Amadian, nanoed on the point, chasing after Shredlock. Shredlock rolling away, and the barrage over the top. Heals with Farah. Kaden not done yet, moving forward. EMP though, back in play. And this is still a fight that's going the way of second win as Frill takes a Tracer v Tracer.
Ace of Spades, he's getting healed up there on the point. Blub gonna get the pressure now from Frill. Frill's looking for these picks on the back line. He doesn't get the second, but he's still alive. He's still here to contest, getting the pressure on the Blub as much as possible. But now with the hack, good peel, but the problem for Tea Party still is they have to find these frags on the point. They have to find these picks With Freedom and Amadium both finding one, but the anti-team's so huge, but it is done. It's finished.
And we just got what many people are familiar with, the classic competitive game surge where nothing goes right the entire round. You know, guys, we're going to lose.
It's the pub effect.
Yeah.
It's the pub effect. It's well documented now. We've seen it. So Tea Party finally finding the pick they needed. Freedom getting a good EMP to open it up there. But second win, they already have 99% on this control bank. Come back in, we'll have an EMP of their own. Getting close to the Valk. A lot of options still going to be available from second win.
Far, looking for the far v far battle. Meanwhile, on the ground, Izar drops EMP, gives his life for it. Love, though, out of the fight. Again, messy. 4-on-4 here. Far rotating over, deals Far on the other side. This gives Tea Party a definitive advantage. But Frill, equalize that. Anticipates the other side. Frill turning it back. With the rocket to the feet. Definitely gonna say something about it, but as we say that, the flip comes in. Second win. Control the fight once more. But Far finally falls. But perhaps doing enough damage here. Tea Party starting to stream back into the point. Second win in control of the play. Shredlock comes back the other way, takes down 2. Resurrection gonna be up, and second win starting to solidify on their own. Kaden, the barrage on the top, grabs another 3! And second win, putting the round away. The map is theirs.
First map going the way, second win. And Tea Party, realistically, there's not much else to say other than they were disjointed and losing duels. And triple DPS, that's it all comes down to that. You can't look at ult usage that much for the most part because ults are a far less important part of the synergy there. It's all just, can you get one pick with your ult? Good, great. You got one pick with your ult because you're in triple DPS. That's fantastic. But more importantly, how are the neutral games going? Are you getting caught? Are you getting picked early? And Tea Party were losing those trades, losing those picks every single time to second win.
Well, let's talk about what we just saw here is that, you know, to use some terms from our good friend Super, we had a battle that was mostly decided in neutral, and it was an honest battle between DPS.
I mean, there was Sombras on the field, though.
Sombra was on the
field.
field.
So it was dishonest.
But the biggest plays weren't coming from the Sombra. It was really coming from the Tracer play of Frill more than anything else. And the Pharahs that top things off. I think Kaden and Pharah were pretty evenly matched, but when you combine the fact that you guys could be evenly matched, but Frill was able to move in and get intense cleanup, it was honest, is what that was.
It was definitely just a brawl. It was that's one of the things about triple DPS is that sometimes the strategy really isn't that complex, if anything at all. It's just, we're going to be over here. I'm going to be looking for a pick. Hopefully I get it. And there you go. There's triple DPS for you. That is actually what it comes down to. It's a lot of aim duels, a lot of hoping you don't get isolated. And realistically, Tea Party was just losing those duels more often than not. They weren't finding the value. They were having people die a little too early before the engages because you have to have everyone up to follow up to get the engage.
The thing about the deeper strategy of things like triple DPS, it just brings you back to the old Selfless days where Defran was in peak. And, you know, you think back to the Selfless strategy back then, it really was a strategy of let's go dudes. Win your battles. Go from there.
Yeah, win your battles, and you will likely win the game when it comes to triple DPS, or even when we get to wonkier comps. That will be going away soon enough. A little bit more structure, I would say, when you put that 2-2. But like triple DPS does have that opportunity now for squads like Second Wind that have a lot of fraggers to flex them, to just rely on aim duels, to rely on that individual mechanics to bring them through a lot of fights.
But on the same note, you also can't get too attached to running this. So I do wonder if we're going to see teams start swapping more towards 2-2-2, because on one hand, you want to play the best thing possible for the rules right now in the regular season, but it's already been announced that for playoffs, things change. So there is a weird line here team-wise of how much practice do you want to put in on things like triple DPS or 3-3 when you know you're in the waning days.
I think for right now, Second Wind are very set on just winning this match. Because remember, they are sort of towards the lower areas of the cutoff for playoffs. So they're definitely looking to just make sure they win this match. So I think for right now, they have to guarantee a victory here, both themselves and Tea Party, to make sure their spot is relatively solidified. And then they'll probably worry about not maybe using comps they're not going to be able to use in playoffs. As we are getting into Paris now, it's going to be our second map of the series again, our Assault.
Is there anything more honest than what we're seeing Second Wind come out with here on the defense?
There are a lot of things more honest than this.
Are you telling me that running out with Orisa, Hog, Torbjorn May is not the most honest composition you've ever seen in your life?
I can say with certainty it's not. I can say with absolute certainty. So Second Wind are going to be on this defense, running the solo heal, and having Kaden on the May, Bird on the Hog. So a lot of potential to live through a dive, to get these early pickoffs, to find isolations here with the hook combo. The weak point, the pressure point there is Halo. Halo, he is the solo healer. He has no support. He's a one person that can be found. If they can find Halo, they can break apart this comp with their Tea Party.
The Achilles heel, and Halt into Widow is a surprisingly powerful composition that you don't see talked about too much, but gives Widow free shots. Lodian right now, looking for anything. It's a hog in the back end, and Tea Party making some decent inroads here. And Far finds Ezire. However, Frill kind of on their side, 5-on-5, but look at the damage Far is outputting right now.
Far, a lot of damage, and they have an amplification matrix. Antal, he's on that Batiste, the solo heal with the Batiste, so they will be having a lot of sustain here. But they couldn't find anything with the amplification matrix. Great immortality, though, from Antal to survive the hook. They're on the point now. This is where Tea Party need to be. This is where they want to be, that they have a D.Va being able to play near the point.
It's going to be very difficult for second win to move back in. Test this, especially when Far's going to land shots like that. Well placed directly to
A
the window.
second amp matrix from Antal. That is his second in this offense. It is so incredibly fast.
Well, sometimes you just have to build windows in the middle of the point A. The Tea Party can be working with some momentum as they move into point B. However, second win, point A isn't without their spoils. They also about to have Molten Core, Blizzard, a little bit Ice and Fire on the other side.
However, Freedom has the bomb here. With the bomb available, it is actually able to neutralize a lot of second wind's composition, especially if they spam Treadlock Shield first, make him use a second shield, and as soon as that second shield is used, you look for the bomb. There's the bomb go in. They're going to be focusing the shield, focusing for the engage here, trying to set up Freedom.
Right. Immediately splitting up second wind in the back, going to be giving Tea Party a free tick to start things out. Supercharger down, so is Molten Core. Molten Core, though, yet to give a fatal hot foot to the other side. Bird finding one, and Frill now room to work with on the Widow. The Blizzard making so much room. Second win, the Blizzard, really the difference maker and holding back Tea Party, but it comes at a cost.
Already gave up 2 ticks there to Tea Party. 2 ticks given. They're going to make a swap here. Ezar onto the Hanzo. And Kaden going to the D.Va now. No more Mei. So they're going to be running triple tank with solo healer. This is an interesting composition, especially with the solo heal being the Mercy. They will have Valk, but Antal, you heard of Widowmaker, but he's on Windowmaker. Yeah. He's got the Windowmaker, and the thing is, he will have that available for his next fight. Tea Party, they can look to play a little slow and just play the Amplification Matrix. Though Shredlock with the Bongo, it is very possible that they can equal that damage output, but the problem is that they have Immortality Field. They have Immortality Field, they have all the heals from Batiste that a Mercy really can't match.
This is a really good angle to open up with Amp Matrix because second win, they have no choice but to give up some room here. Problem is, they have to get back onto the point now. 89%, 95%, 100, they don't get back in! I called it.
That's a Charlie Niner. That is definitely a Charlie Niner. I think we can know, there's no other way to describe that. That is 5-6 people alive, full comp, the ults have been traded, and they just don't touch point. There is no other way to describe it other than C9.
Intimidation is what we just saw there, where the Amp Matrix is out. They don't want to trade against it because it's just not what you want to do. The problem is that they'd already given up 2 ticks on the point. Someone must touch.
Someone must be the sacrificial lamb, and no one chooses to be it. So that is going to be the cap for Tea Party. A pretty fast cap, too. I mean, a little under 5 minutes. It was not a guaranteed fight win by any means either, especially with the delay that was possible. Second wind giving up that cap.
And a pretty quick time for Tea Party at that. 4 minutes, 52 seconds. Even if second wind was going to lose that fight, simply dying on point and going through the death throws, going through the stall sequence, would have burned probably about a minute off the clock. So that's a pretty big swing in the course of the map and could be exactly what Tea Party needs to even this up 1-1 going into the half.
So Tea Party looking like they're going to play the Orisa Hog themselves with the solo heal. The blob on that Hog. So once again, trying to play that very similar strategy that Second Wind did. Looking to grab picks. They have freedom on the Mei to deny any dive potential. But they can't let what happened to what they use on offense to let Second Wind have that same value. They can't just let them get to the point. Getting to the point there, if the offense gets to the point, that's where this defense falls apart.
Now note Second Wind, they're not running an Orisa to set up the hook or Widow with pulls. They're running with the Hammond, so it is a different.
No, I think he was just scouting. I think he's just scouting. They're going to go back. Yeah, so they will be getting the Orisa. Solo heal as well with Kaden on that Diva. So they have the Diva there is going to have that potential for second one to actually enter the point. Use that Matrix there, a little bit of extra shield pressure.
Battle of Hanzo's commences and Shredlock almost falling immediately. Far has been deadly so far here in the Hanzo. Again, shield battle in play. The halt is up. No casualties this time. And this is the slow grind between Orisa versus Orisa.
Tea Party, they're in a favorable position as long as second win just can't get a pick and can't make it to point.
Well,
but Ace of Spades getting caught there. Probably one of the worst people that could be lost.
They get the res off though. The res is not tied.
Yeah, but Blub is also down. They've lost the combo now. They don't even have the combo potential. They don't have the extra shield.
Still could be worse. I agree that second wind is a really good spot for Tea Party. See if they can delay it. Okay, well, you've lost freedom. Now second wind should be able to rotate over and take firm control of the point. Heavy pressure on the Amadi, and Ace of Spades almost down again. And this time Ace of Spades is going to stay down in what has been a very decisive attack from second wind.
Second wind having the far better hook halt combos. So really there's no other way to describe it as just having the better halt combos. So if you're able to get consistently more value, get those hooks, then you will win those fights in this sort of setup right now. Second wind there, taking first, pretty fast time for them. Not a lot of ults on the board for them just yet. Tea Party also having the advantage with the Bongo, and Bongo is a huge ult, fight-winning ult in this sort of setup.
Recon sight, gonna be up immediately here.
They hook him out of Hanzo, they hook him out of Dragon.
The wall though, the wall saves him, so despite losing Dragon, oh no, Blub just stuck in the corner. Whole Hog finishes him off. A little bit of aid from Ezire. That is tragic for Blub. However, Far realizes runs Widow on the other side. Ezire playing Storm Arrows and just a little bit of time bought here for the defense, and with the pickup from Madian, this is decent enough for Tea Party.
Amadi keeping them in this fight still, getting these key pickoffs, playing these flank angles, playing these off angles. Far also catching them there in the crossfire. It's exactly what you need when you're playing the double sniper. Is if you can catch them in off angles here in that crossfire, it's huge.
If I'm Tea Party from here on out, I just keep Far on the Hanzo, because Hanzo, it's been the most impact we've seen so far. Even winning Far duels in the previous round hasn't quite had the impact that the Hanzo has had here.
And look at this Tea Party, they swapped Antal off the Mercy to the Batiste. Still getting early picks here as well.
Second wind, you lose two immediately. Okay, you've gotten one res, but the resurrection just lets you wait as Amadian able to find Ezire before the full reset is complete. And the stagger is insane so far. And second wind, by the way, they're gonna be a slower time no matter what than Tea Party.
However, now we look at Tea Party's ult bank. No Bongo, no window just yet. They do have the potential to enter, to use the Bongo early, and just win the shield war, but they're gonna have to worry about Blizzard. Blizzard is gonna be very impactful when you're an incredibly slow moving comp, you don't have any defensive ults. Being able to lock down the tanks or the backline here is gonna be huge. Caden's really the only one that can deny the value for freedom.
Trying to set it up. Meanwhile, the Dragon Strike right down the middle, but Far's already struck. Finds Frill. Hidden countering with a bomb, but losing two already makes this very difficult for a second. When his Far just continues to devastate. The raid boss for Tea Party cannot be stopped.
He still needs to stay alive though. It's only Antal here healing him, but Amadian's back. Amadian finishes off two, and Far staying alive, getting those key pickoffs. And really though, they still couldn't deal with the fact that Freedom, they uses the Blizzard to isolate. Split second wind. They need to swap. They need to change. That is exactly what they're going to be doing now. You see second wind. Move it over to the 3-3 with Bird on the Moira. A good swap off. A very, very good swap off, I think, because Tea Party, they use most of their ults. They don't have a supercharger. They didn't have the Blizzard. Now they're going to have to make a swap themselves in a completely ult neutral fight here.
I have to say, though, in terms of swaps, if I'm Tea Party, there's part of me would still stay in the Hanzo for how well Far is playing it. Now on the Brigida. Tea Party, though, immediately decent focus fire on the Brigida. Ace of Spades in danger. Booped away. Halo going in, but Ace of Spades kept up. Antal, meanwhile, far more successful on the flank. And the swap for Tea Party, so overall, working well.
Surviving that fight there. Tea Party, though, getting close to the rally, but for second win, their whole their whole engage, their whole setup here when they're playing this is getting coalescence early and trying to use that coalescence, set up this engage before Transcendence is available, before EMP is out for Tea Party, and hoping they can win that neutral fight, win that coalescence fight.
It's gonna be hard when Glove is outbuilding Frill right now. Or sorry, outbuilding I've lost my mind.
You have lost your mind.
I've lost my mind. For some reason, I was like, Frill on Moira. No, Bird's on Moira, and he's not being out.
But the reality is, though, that they will still have to run into the rally. Still have to run to the rally for Tea Party here. Far does have that rally available to survive through the Coalescence. They just need to keep Love alive.
Shred in danger. Shred already down. Coalescence or no, not enough to keep Shred into the fight. And Tea Party up one. Frill soon to be isolated. And this is looking grim for Second Wind right now.
It's really the Second Wind's entire strategy was contingent upon winning that fight. Winning that fight with the Coalescence, getting it early before any other ults. They weren't expecting Far to have the rally. Rally will always beat Coalescence. Armor is just very, very strong. And now, because they had to swap Bird onto the Xin, Love, he has the advantage. Tea Party in general has the ult economy advantage. They have EMP. This is a tough scenario to be in for Second Wind. They're going to have to tank a fight and then come in for the next and hopefully win it.
Party in a very, very good spot right now. Second Wind with only 1:03 left. Essentially 2 attempts. And it's hard to imagine how this next attempt is going to be successful in any way. Tea Party completely stacked. In regards to the ultimates they have up. Freedom just waiting for the opportunity to go in off the EMP. Valuable time being wasted. Second Wind might not have a second attempt. They don't hurry. But now they move in. The EMP is out immediately. Focus fire there from the Shatter. Set up by the EMP. Shardlock already down. And this fight goes the way of Tea Party.
Frill was very far out there. Or not Frill, but rather far to meet Frill. Just looking forward, trying to take the Bash early, potentially. They're getting the stagger onto Caden here as well. He's going to have to go off the map. They're probably going to finish him off just for the ult charge. But the EMP was used. The EMP Shadow was used there for Tea Party, so neither of those ults they have to worry about. Second Wind will have double support ult, triple support ult very soon. 6 ults almost. So this is the fight they must win. They must win this fight now. There's no EMP, no Shatter. Can they find value? Can they get a grab off? Anything of that nature. They need to get some ults out of Tea Party.
Well, 25 seconds. Bear in mind, unless they fully wipe Tea Party in record speed, they're not going to get another attack. This only puts in the drawable territory. Second Wind is fighting for that chance. They drop the Graviton. Chases Spades. Sensitivity out in response. Counter Graviton as well. However, Second Wind up one to start things out. They're enduring the Transcendence that comes in with the beat from the offside. Self-destruct from Second Wind. And there's a Shadow from Ace of Spades. Countered by the beat though. Second Wind still a full 6. We are in overtime. Best they can do is a draw. Tea Party dropping one after the other. Second Wind, they've finally gotten a good attack, but it comes very late. And it's a bitter victory, I would say, here on point B.
The EP is going to come out for Freedom, but it doesn't really matter. Second Wind, they're all on the point, all 6 members, focusing fire down, and they do finally get that engage that they needed. The grab maybe was questionable, but it did force that Transcendence, so it's still fine in the end. And like you talked about, the best they can do now is the draw. It's the draw that's going to be for Second Wind to take us into the 3rd map past the half. Still gives them, still keeps them up. They still be up 1-0, but that is the best they can do. No map win. And they have 5 minutes. Tea Party has almost 5 minutes for this offense.
I would say that this is a very not good situation for Second Wind to be in, where congratulate yourself. You got through point B. That's all well and good. But now you have to hold first point, not only for more than the normal period of time, which you are, by the way, unable to do your first defense, but you need to do it with only a 33% buffer, where you already proved earlier in the map that paying attention to the objective is not necessarily your strong suit. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Tea Party is enormously favored to finish this and even up the series 1-1.
However, we have seen some holds that have happened here. Paris is if there's one map ever that can give you incredibly good holds, more so than any other map currently in rotation, it is Paris first. It is the defense map. It is the defense map. So it's not completely impossible for Second Wind, and they're going to be running the Envy comp too that we've seen with the Moira. They're going to be looking to take these engages aggressively at the choke. I like this because they're expecting Tea Party to be running the comp they're running right now. If they take these fights very aggressively and just focus fire someone down and get ults early, they're in a pretty good position.
Well, it means Almadian probably isn't going to get first pick off as they immediately charge that choke point, but Tea Party, they're ready to a degree. They just back out immediately. Immortality field is down. Second win, they were extended, Frill's out of it.
Oh, that's disaster. What a good disengage for Tea Party. Good immortality field for Antal as well. They're going to lose Shredlock. 2 members down already. They can't get caught here at the choke. They lose one more person. It's probably impossible for them to even recontest.
Well, went on the entire note about how Paris can be the first whole half, but instead...
It's not over just yet. It's not over just yet, but Antal, they have the Matrix.
The window's out, and now with that body finishing blow, it is going to be over, and Tea Party makes it a very quick early attack. They had 4.5 minutes, but let's be real, they didn't even need a full minute here.
So an ambitious strategy for second wind, hoping to build ults early, get those first very aggressive engage, but a great disengage from Tea Party now. A very good disengage, and they've tied it up 1-1. Looks like we have a series on our hand. And remember, this is a series that's very important too, because these are teams that are vying for the 5th and 6th slots respectively to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, and realistically speaking, you don't want to go into scenarios where somehow you don't get in the playoffs or you just end up with a really bad seed. That means that you have to face a team like Envy earlier than you would like to. So you're absolutely right. A lot is at stake for both of these teams. And guys, it's all tied up here at the half. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to see who's going to take it.